Hello guys, I am back from my little hiatus because I was pretty tired last time because I had to do like back-to-back like Christmas parties. One from my auntie and the other one from, from my cousin nearby. Which by the way, they were pretty good. And damn, my brother was like really good at singing on the karaoke part. And during like the fashion show was absolutely fun. Especially my brother basically doing that Michael Jackson shit over there. Anyway, so hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about what if Deku, or at least not Deku, I meant Bell. God damn it! What if Bell had the ability to summon heroic spirits? So in the last video we talked about how I won't be telling you guys what happened last time because well, I'm a bit too excited to basically be coming back to making videos. So yeah. I want all of you guys to just, watch what happened last time. So, yeah. So, anyway, and there's also sort of an announcement. I'm going to be making, like, a live stream, on New Year's Eve, which is going to be, basically this. I'm basically going to be showing all of you guys all of the drawings that I did over the years. Like, from the start of my channel to before my channel, and probably to the present. Maybe. And if you guys want that, just comment down below. Anyway, so, let us talk about what happens next, lads and lasses. So, it's been about a week ever since, that little incident, and after being told that he's gonna be meeting, Bet's parents, which, he's not really excited for. Mostly because, it is Bet. And oh boy. So, as Bell is basically, working out by himself with the help of, like, not really by himself, but he still has some, like, people basically beside him. More specifically, a few people are basically helping him out. Specifically, Emiya and also, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is basically training him in how to use, well, not really use, but more like, training him in how to dodge, some of his attacks. Like, for example, some of his blasts from his, Gate of Babylon style wand thing. I don't really know what to call it, as Emiya is basically using his guns to basically, well, how do I say this? Yeah, you make him dance. Well, not Izuku, I meant Bell. Bell is basically dodging, as nearby, one of them would say this, specifically, Hestia. So, I'm guessing that's his type of training, she would say, as one of them would say this. Yeah, but trust me, he's pretty much okay with it. I mean, it is a bit terrifying at first, but trust me, it's not really that bad. As she would say this. I just hope that he's okay, she would say. As one of them would say this. He'll be fine, said, wait for a second. Said Estrella. As, one of them would say this. Specifically, Lobo, or Hessian Lobo. Yes, I do agree. And trust me, if our monster gets hurt, he can easily heal from it. Thanks to Gilgamesh. After saying that, Morgan would say this. Yes, she would say. As after saying that, we currently see not Izuku, I meant Bell. And also, by the way, the person who just, like, commented, like, on one of my last videos, the guy that asked for, like, the Kill la Kill what if, well, unfortunately, I already have, like, an idea in my head, and the original idea was, remember my, what if about, like, Deku having, was an FGO, or have the ability to basically summon heroic spirits? Well, the original idea for it was Izuku's going to be in Kill la Kill. So yeah, I already have an idea for it, so unfortunately no Dishonored, powers or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm probably going to be making it next time after this what if, but if you want, maybe you can, like, comment me, like, a new what if, or another what if idea. And the current what ifs ideas that I have are probably, well, what is that called again? AMGE what if, and also, the Kill la Kill what if. And if you don't know what MGE means, well, search it up on the internet. You probably know what it means after, searching it up. It's MGE. And you probably, and if some of you already know this, well, oh boy, you're definitely going to seem excited. So anyway, continue on, as while Bell is basically training the, little, like, gate thing that they made for, for the, Hestia Familia household would start to knock. As after hearing that, Bob would say this. Alright, I'm gonna be opening it, he would say. as after walking up to it, he would basically open the gate and would notice Bet. As Bet would say this. So, are you ready? She would say, as he would say this. Ready for, as you would remember last time, as he would say this. Just wait for a second, Bet, he would say, as he would basically close the gate and he would start moving towards, his room and basically start changing, as one of them would say this. Specifically, Koyanskaya. I'm guessing he's getting ready for his little, meeting with his future parents-in-law, she would say. As, Hestia would say this. Yeah, it seems so. Well, could we just, keep a watch on him, said one of them. Specifically, Melusine. As, Burgeist would say this. Guess I'll go watch on him. As for Gilgamesh, he would say this. Sure, I could certainly watch my master, he would say. And as for, Europa, she would say this. Guess I'll help out too, she would say. And after saying that, they would start seeing that Izuku's basically leaving now. As you would say this. Okay guys, bye, he would say, as he would start leaving with Bet. So, after leaving with Bet would just be beside him as she would say this. So, are you ready? She would say, as he would say this. Yeah, I'm okay, I guess. I mean, I'm sort of ready, he would say, as she would say this. Then, why are you basically walking, a few feet away from me? As after saying that, we would notice Belle basically walking, 6, not really 6, but more 7 feet, 7 feet away from her. As he would say this. Nothing, he would say, as she would say this. Trust me, I'm not really in my heat right now. As he would say this. I'm not taking any chances, he would say, as she would say this. Seriously? Whatever, she would say. As after saying that, they would start moving towards where, her parents are. As after arriving, they would see that they're currently in some sort of restaurant. As Bob would say this. So, this might be the place, right? As she would say this. Yeah, that's what my parents sent me. As after saying that, they would basically walk in and would basically see a lot of people looking at them. Most of them from different familias. Some of them already recognizing Belle from, the recent stories about him, which were kind of concerning, and they would start looking away instantly. As Belle would say this. So, where are your... As she would say this. Wait, there they are, she would say. As Belle would look over and would see, a demi-human man and a demi-human woman, with the same hair color and eye color as Bet. As she would say this. Come on, she would say. As she would basically grab onto Belle's hand, and they would start leaving to go to, to where, her parents seated. Currently nearby. As Burgeist would say this. I mean, that's sort of cute, said she would say, as Melusine would say this. Yeah, but still, she would say, as, Embio would say this. Just calm down, both of you. As Gilgamesh would say this. I can't believe my master seems to be liking these types of girls, he would say. As, one of them would say this, specifically, Burgeist. What is that supposed to mean, she would say, as he would say this. Well, I thought of him more of the type of person to basically go for the more submissive type, he would say. As, Emiya would say this to himself. Seriously, Gilgamesh, he would say, as Europa would say this. Either way, we should probably still be watching him. I mean, what if something bad, happens, she would say, as, all of them would start to think in their minds about those incidences. Oh boy. As, Melusine would say this. Yeah, I do have to agree with, Europa over there. We don't want to get, Big Brother in trouble or anything of that sort. Especially if it comes to his certain situation over there, she would say. As one of them would say this. Yeah, I do have to agree, said, Burgeist. I meant Burgeist. As, Gilgamesh would say this. Fine, he would say. As he would start looking towards, Belle. And also, and if you're wondering, yes, I've seen all of the news about LBS7. God dang it! Seriously! And I'm still theorizing that it's probably either Cain as the grand, as the grand, berserker, or it's probably, or at least in some theories, that it's probably, Tessa Lipoka. I still think it's probably Cain, because it makes sense. Tezcatlipoca is a god, while, most, and I mean most, of the Grand Servants are either humans from history or some mythologies. The reason why is because, how Romulus Curnus is actually a god, or at least sort of half god, sort of, but still. I still theorizing that it's probably either Tezcatlipoca or probably, Cain. And there's also, another theory about, the Grand Rider, which currently it's still unfortunate that, there's still an FGO arcade, which, by the way, fuck it. Like, seriously, why did they have to put him in that arcade game? I'm still wondering if they're actually gonna put him in, in the FGO, mobile game. I'm still thinking about that. And if they are, then come on, why? And, I'm still wondering about, Grand Saber. It's either, there's several theories about that. I still think it's probably either Musashi or somebody else. Probably, what's his face? I can't remember the knight's face, but he's from Spain. Let's, blame the main on Spain. Anyway, continuing on, we currently see, Bell basically with, well, wait for a second. As we currently see Bell there, as Bell would say this, with Bet, as they would basically sit down on the, seats, as Bell would notice one of them, specifically, the man that almost resembles Bet in a way, as he would say this. So, you must be the man that Bet has been talking about. The one that she calls, and I quote, the little bunny rabbit that she uses as a toy. As Bell would say this. Yeah. Nice to meet you, sir, he would say, as he would say this. Nice to meet you, young man. The name's... Actually, let's just call him just Bet's father, and, Bet's mother. As he would say this. Oh, hello there, Bet's, father, he would say. As he would say this. Nice to meet you there. As he would say this. Bell Cornell, he would say. As he would say this. Wait, you're that Bell Cornell? Huh, I never thought of you to be this young, he would say. As he would say this. Yeah, I get that a lot. I mean, I'm sort of, a sort of newbie, but I'm still pretty strong, he would say. As he would say this. I see. Then what is your level exactly, he would say. As he would say this. Well, I recently became a level 5, he would say. Silence. Instant silence. Everybody's there, everybody in the restaurant is just, quiet. As some of them would think, huh? All of them would just think in their minds, instantly, as, Bet's father would say this. Oh, I see. You're now a level 5. Huh. That is certainly interesting, Mr. Bell, he would say, as Bell would say this. Oh, just call me Bell, he would say, as Bet's, mother would say this. That's quite interesting. You certainly gotten a good catch, Bet, she would say, as Bet would say this. Yeah, Mom, she would say, as, he would say this. Now, how about what happened during your heat week, or at least your heat, month, he would say, as, Bet would start to blush, as she would say this. Dad, why did you have to say that? As, he would say this. Oh, come on. What happened to your little rabbit over there? Did he, start crying after you basically powdered him into paste, he would say? As, her mother would say this. Yeah, you sort of, kind of remind me back when it was still young. Back when it was still, hot enough to basically rival the sun, she would say. As, Bet would start blushing even more as she would say this. Mom, she would say, as she would say this. Oh, come on, that was kind of funny, she would say. As both of them would start to laugh, as Belle's basically there, just awkward there. Just scratching the back of his, not really back, but more scratching his, forearm a little bit. As he would say this. Oh, come on, man, he would say. As he would start looking at, Belle, as he would say this. So, how was your first night with Bet, he would say. As he would say this. He would start blushing a lot, as his face is completely, completely red as a tomato, as he would say this. You look like you're, covered in blood, he would say, as he would say this. Yeah, he would say, as Belle is still pretty much, well, blushing, as you would say this. It's quite the contrast between you and your scars over there. By the way, how did you get those scars exactly, he would say, as Bet was also quite curious about that as well. As Belle would say this. Well, you see, back in my hometown, there was like several monsters basically hunting several people there. And so I decided to basically act as like a sort of adventurer, and I sort of fought off monsters by myself. I mean, I'm not really a familiar member back in my day, but still, I was still pretty strong at that time. As after saying that, he would say this. Oh, I see. A young fighter over here, he would say. As Bo would say this. Yeah, I guess you could say that. As he would say this. Now, Bet, it seems that you got a great husband, he would say. Maybe even greater than the one that he was supposed to pick. But either way, I guess it's okay for me to basically end the marriage. So, I hope both of you are gonna be great together, he would say. As, her mother would say this. Yeah, and please get me some grandkids soon, she would say. As both of them would start to blush. As, Bet would just basically slam her fist on the table as she would say, Mom, she would say. As she would say this. Oh, come on. Anyway, we should probably get to your, to your familia to basically, get some rest there. As she would say this. Fine, Mom, she would say. As after basically that talk, all of them would basically start to leave, including, Belle. As before Belle can actually leave, Bet would basically run up to him, as she would say this. Hey, Belle, she would say, as Belle would say this. Yeah, Bet, he would say, as she would say this. Well, thank you, she would say, as he would say this. Thank you for what? As she would say this. Well, for helping me with my parents, she would say. As he would say this. Oh, don't worry, it's just, well, a sort of thanks, I guess you could say. As she would say this. Thank you, I guess she would say. As she would say this. Now, about your reward, she would say. As he would say this. Wait, reward. But before he can actually do anything else, he would start to get kissed right on the face. He would start to blush even more after feeling the kiss. Instead of being, aggressive and violent, instead it's more soft. Almost gentle. As his mind would start to cloud a little bit, as his eyes would start to resemble back when he was basically, yeah, let's just say back in the last episode. As after doing so, she would basically, well, separate their, their faces to get, like, they would basically separate their faces from each other, as she would say this. That's your reward, she would say. As Bo was basically there, just like dumbstruck, as he would say this. As he would just be dumbfounded, as she would say this. Whatever, she would say. And by the way, can you help me, next time, she would say. As she would start, locking her legs together, as he would say this. Help you with what? As she would say this. Well, you see, we're planning to go to a dungeon later. More specifically, there. We're planning to go to, what is that called? We're planning to go to, floor, 30? Not 30, I meant, I think it was like, floor 51 or 2, I can't remember, in the anime. But either way, after saying that, Belle would say this. Oh, sure, I can, certainly help with that, he would say, as she would say this. Thanks, she would say. As after doing so, she would basically leave. As Belle was basically, there, still pretty much shocked after getting that kiss. As he would say this to himself. Did I really fall in love, he would say to himself. As he would say this. This is no way. This is just Stockholm Syndrome. Like, Stockholm Syndrome, he would say to himself. Yeah, it's probably that, he would say to himself. As he would start thinking to himself even more, as he would start to hear, well, somebody from behind him. As he would hear, hey, Belle, as everybody would, not everybody, but more like Bell would basically look behind him and would see some of his servants. More specifically, Emiya, Burgeist, and Melusine, and also, Europa and Gilgamesh. As Bell would say this, wait, why are you guys here? He would say, as, Burgeist would say this, well, we saw your interaction with, Bet over there, and also during your little conversation. As, Bell would start to blush a little bit as he would say, wait, what? As Gilgamesh would say this, ha 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 ha, I can't believe our master is actually this embarrassed. Especially with that girl basically kissing you. I mean, seriously. As Bell would start blushing even more as Europa would say this. Yeah, I mean, he did got, that with Bet, but still, she would say. As, Melusine would say this. Big brother, are you okay? As he would say this. Yeah, I'm fine, he would say. We should probably start leaving, he would say. As after saying that, all of them would agree. And so, all of them would basically start to leave, going back home. So, after arriving back home, everybody was there basically getting ready for dinner, as Emiya would basically cook up a pretty nice one. As everybody's basically eating and enjoying his meal, enjoying, Emiya's meal, including, Hestia for obvious reasons, because Hestia is, a bit of a glutton for this type of shit. Especially the lava cake that he made. Let's just say she was basically, in heaven at this point. And thankfully, she doesn't really need to go to her job anymore. Because of, the mix of, Emiya basically opening up a restaurant for some odd reason. Which, by the way, let's just say was pretty much, enjoyed by everybody. He even decided to basically partner up with, with the Hostess Fertility to basically become a sort of franchise. Sort of. It's not really that, famous in Rario yet, but it's certainly gonna give them a lot of money. And not only that, because of, NFF services, well, from, Koyanskaya, let's just say it would start to, skyrocket all of their, money. And let's just say, it's going pretty good. You can even say it stonks. Yeah, God, stonks memes. I absolutely love that. So, as everybody is basically eating, one of them would say this. Specifically, Hestia. So, Belle, how was your day with, with Bet, she would say. As he would say this. Well, it was certainly fun, he would say, as he would start blushing a little bit. With, a face that almost resembles, a bit of pinkish powder basically sprayed all over his face, as, one of them would say this. Well, it certainly felt fun for you, Belle, she would say, specifically, Burgeist, as, Melusine would say this. Yeah, Big Brother certainly had a bit of fun, especially with his interaction with, with Miss Bet over there, she would say. As he would say this, specifically, not he, I meant she, specifically, as Hestia would say this. Oh, I see. And also, Belle, she would say, as Belle would say this. Yeah, Hestia, he would say, as she would say this. Well, we recently got a report from the guild, and apparently they want you to basically join up with everybody else, including your heroic spirits, to basically, help them out. Basically going to the, 52nd floor. Apparently there's, a recent attack on, several monsters recently. As after saying that, Belle would say this. Oh, I see. So, I should help them out? As she would say this. Yes. And also, because of your powers and your heroic spirits here, will certainly pack a punch. As after saying that, Belle would say this. Oh, sure, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Good. Now, you should, all of you should probably get ready for tomorrow. And so, after saying that, Belle and the rest of, everybody would start, the rest of them would basically get to their, go back to their rooms, as all of them would basically fall asleep. So, after waking up, all of them would start preparing for their, their expedition towards, the 52nd floor. As while they're basically getting ready, Bell is basically, putting on his, his metal boots and also his shoulder pad. As while he was doing this, he would hear, "Hey, Bell," as he would start looking towards, the voice. As, after looking, he would see, sorry about that, while he was basically, preparing his stuff, he would basically notice, Melusine would say this. Or like, Melusine would basically come up to him and would say this. "Hey, big brother," she would say, as he would say this. What is it, Melusine?" As she would say this. "Well, about, what is going to happen." As he would say this. Yeah? As she would say this. "So, are you going to bring all of us?" As, all of his heroic spirits would just be there, as he would say this. "Well, obviously, I mean, it's going to be a group effort. Even though this is basically overkill," he would say. As one of them would say this, specifically Gilgamesh. "Ha ha ha ha! I do agree, Master. I can certainly just destroy the entire dungeon if I wanted to," he would say. As he would say this. "But I would rather not," he would say. As she would say this. He would say this. "Fine then. Now, let's get going." After saying that, all of them would basically get all of their stuff and would basically start to leave. And they would say goodbye to, to her. AKA, as we currently see all of them basically leaving. As, we currently see Hestia basically saying goodbye to them. As after basically, leaving, we currently see them basically in front of where the dungeon is, as they would also see a lot, and I mean a lot of people there. While they're basically talking, they would notice Bell. And they would also notice the people behind them. Like, for example, Europa to actually, Cassian and Lobo are basically in their spirit form, because if they were to see them, they would think that they're a monster. I mean, seriously. Lobo would actually look like a monster. And also because, Hessian doesn't really have a head, well, they would think that he's probably like a Dolahan of sorts. And so, after arriving there, all of them would basically start to look at Bell and the rest of his team, as they would instantly become a little bit afraid. Including, the nearby Apollo Familia, as they're currently, after seeing their display during, they're displayed during the, the little, attack between them and also the monsters, well, they currently are, sort of infamous because of their power. Especially Bell, and also after hearing that the, Loki Familia were defended by them, and, not only that, after hearing that, his power rivals even some gods, well, let's just say certainly almost all of them are a bit afraid. Including Hyacinthus, which is, by the way, a sort of concerning part of it. Which, Hyacinthus is a bit of a bitch. And, most of the time would think himself as a higher god or, higher being. But, after hearing that he was that powerful and after seeing some, some confirmation from some, Loki Familia members, well, they would instantly start becoming afraid because they don't want to make him as an enemy. Yeah, oh boy. And we currently see Bell with, with the rest of, the Loki Familia, as Bell would say this. "Oh, hey guys," as one of them would say this. "Oh, hey Bell," said, Finn, as he would say this. "So, where's Bet?" he would say, as one of them would perk up, specifically Levia, as she would say this. "So, did the Stockholm Syndrome basically kick in?" she would say, as Bell would say this. I guess he would say to himself. Say to her, as she would say this. "I guess so," she would say, as, well, one of them would say this, specifically, well, a blonde-haired girl, as you would notice her as his eyes would widen. Her appearance. It was Eyes Woldenstein, as she would say this. "So, you must be Bell. It's nice to finally meet you in person," she would say. As he would say this. "Oh, hello there, Sword Princess," he would say, as he would basically bow down, as she would say this. "Don't worry, you don't really need to bow down for me. Besides, I should be the one that's bowing down to you instead," she would say. After hearing that, most of the people there would just be wide-eyed, as they would say, "Hold up, what the fuck?" All of them would just say to themselves, as he would say this. "Oh, I don't really mind. Besides, you're basically like the Sword Princess, the ultimate swordsman," he would say. After saying that, Burgers would be there saying to herself, who the fuck said that? She would say, because remember, she is a saber class, and at the time, I really wanted I really wanted all of you guys to pick, I do wanted, like, Charlemagne or, Muramasa to basically be the servant. Because all of you guys decided for, instead of, like, Balmond Sith, which, made the trio of, the Fairy Knights, instead that all of you guys decided to go for Emiya. I mean, it makes sense, but still. And, and if you're wondering why I didn't pick, regular Emiyas, because, regular Emiya is just the vanilla of the Emiyas, in my opinion. My favorite is probably, just, the edgier Emiya. The Emiya that basically became a Depresso Espresso over there. Anyway, continuing on, as, Belle would just be there, as, one of them would say this. Specifically, one of the dwarves. As he would say this. It seems so, said, Leafia. Said, the random dwarf, as she would say this. Anyway, she would say, Bet is over there, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, thanks, Leafia, he would say, as after saying that, he would start leaving, with the other members saying to themselves, I think Bet just basically broke him, all of them would say to themselves. As, we currently see, Eyes there, as she would say this. God dang it. I really wanted to fight him, she would say, and she got her priorities straight. So, currently with Belle. As Belle was basically walking off, he would notice Bet basically there, basically sitting, nearby some boxes, as he would say this. Oh, hey Bet, he would say, as Bet would notice him, as she would say this. Oh, hey, Belle, she would say, as Belle would say this. So, can I sit with you, he would say, as she would say this. Fine, she would say, as Belle would basically, sits beside her, as he would say this. So, Bet, as she would say this. Yeah, she would say, as he would say this. Well, about, when you, kissed me, he would say, as she would start to blush, as she would say this. Yeah, she would say, as he would say this. Well, why did you do that? He would say, as she would say this. Well, it's just a spur in the moment, she would say, as he would say this. Really? He would say, as she would say this. Yeah! She would basically just say instantly, as both of them are currently awkward. As Bet would sigh, as she would say this. Well, and also during, mating season, and if you, actually mated with a guy several times, or a girl, or just anybody, you would instantly become, fall in love, she would say, as he would say this. Wait, really? He would look at her as she would say this. Yeah, it's a tradition, wait for a sec. It's a tradition back in my homeland. You see, if we mated with a guy more than 3 times during our heat season, and because I mated with you millions upon millions of times, well, yeah, she would say, as Belle would say this. So, I'm now as she would say this. Yeah, you're now mine, she would say, as he would say this. I see. He would look at her as she would say this. Now, Belle, I want you to, when it's finally time for, you to sleep, maybe can you sleep with me, she would say, as Belle would start blushing as she would say this. As he would start blushing even more as she would say this. It's just that I couldn't sleep without you, she would say, as he would say this. Sure, Bet, he would say, as she would say this. Thanks, she would say. As after saying that, Belle would basically, leave her as she would say this. By the way, Belle, as after saying that, Belle would say this. Yeah, as she would basically, come up to him, as she would basically give him one more kiss on the cheek. Currently nearby, some, female, adventurers which were seeing this, all of them would just be shocked. except for some of the main members of, like, you know, the Loki Familia, and also, you know, Belle's entourage. As, you know, all of them already know about this. As, you know, we currently see Lethia, she would say to herself, yeah, probably the Stockholm Syndrome, she would say. As, you know, well, the exception for the Loki Familia, you know, members, or at least the female ones, you know, were, you know, one of the Amazon sisters, specifically, what's her face? Tione, as Tione is basically crying, God dang it, why couldn't I get him first, she would say. As currently, you know, the, you know, female members of some familiars, they would say, why did he have to get him first? She would, like, all of them would say, as one of them would say this. I'm guessing it's probably the Stockholm Syndrome, said one of the, you know, random, like, familiar members, as one of them would say this. Yeah, probably, he would say. As, you know, one of them would say this. Dang, I didn't know the guy actually got Stockholm Syndrome, but actually, I'm not even surprised, he would say. Just thinking about it, he would say to, say to the rest of them. As, you know, one of them would say this. I guess so, said one of them. As, you know, one of them would say this. I wonder how many hours have he been, you know, doing with her. I wonder if his legs are okay, he would say. As he would say this. Forget about his legs. Probably his pelvis, he would say. As after saying that, you would hear the sound of somebody, you know, walking up in front of the, in front of the other familias. As this person seems to be a man, or a woman, or at least everybody thinks so. Nobody knows what the heck is his gender, or her gender at this point. As the guy, boy, whatever, would say this. Ah, everybody is finally here. Now, all of you get ready. We're finally going to the, you know, on our, you know, first expedition. Especially for the rest of the new familias, like, for example, the Hestia Familia, which has recently grown for, for a while. And let's just say, you know, Hestia certainly has changed, especially with her, you know, new familia. She/he, or whatever the fuck at this point, would say. As after saying that, everybody would basically get ready and would basically pack up all of their things. As Belle would basically grab, the large, bag that he was carrying, as the rest of them would basically start going as well, including, Gilgamesh and the others. And so, all of them would basically start to leave. As everybody's basically leaving, we currently see Beth basically, walking beside Belle, as they're currently, locking arms together, which, by the way, Beth and Belle are basically blushing a lot. And if you're asking, well, or at least if some of you are wondering, well, Beth is technically taller than Belle, so, just imagine Belle in his, canon, height, sort of, I think, and for Beth, she's basically much taller, just like in canon. So yeah, just imagine them basically, holding hand in hand, and it kind of looks kind of cute. As, currently, Gilgamesh would say this, ha ha ha, it seems that, Master has finally found a woman, he would say, as one of them would say this. Yeah, I guess so, said, said Bergeist, as, Melusine would say this. So, should I call her Big Sister, she would say, as, one of them would say this, specifically, Europa. I guess so, she would say, as after saying that, we currently see, everybody, including some of the other familias, basically started leaving to go to the 52nd floor, or the 50, whatever you want to call it at this point, floor. And so, we're going to be ending this episode right off here. So, yeah, I'm going to be ending this episode right off here, so, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you're getting, and I hope that, everybody has a pretty good New Year, and also a pretty nice Christmas last time, or at least yesterday. So, yeah, so, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Merry Christmas, everybody, and also a Happy New Year. So, yeah, bye-bye!